Hello, everyone, and welcome to Irshad Explains Politics. Today, we will discuss an important question in international politics. Why do countries fight proxy wars instead of fighting each other directly? My purpose in this lecture is not to support any country, ideology, or political bloc, but the goal is to understand how power works in international relations and why proxy wars have become one of the most common feature of modern geopolitics. When we hear about wars, we usually imagine two countries fighting each other directly. However, many modern conflicts do not happen that way. Instead, powerful states often support local governments, militia, or rebel organizations that fight on their behalf. This is called proxy war. Today we will explore what proxy wars are, why they happen, who benefits from them, who suffers from them, and why they remain a major challenge in the 21st century. First, we should understand what is a proxy war. A proxy war occurs when one or more powerful countries support another group, government, or military force to fight an opponent without becoming directly involved in large scale combat themselves. Think of it as two people competing, but instead of fighting each other directly, they encourage others to fight on their behalf. The sport can include money, weapons, military training, intelligence information, diplomatic backing, economic assistance. The key point is that the major powers are influencing the conflict without necessarily sending their own armies into direct battle. Political scientists often describe proxy warfare as an indirect method of competition between rival states. To understand proxy wars, we first need to understand why countries often avoid direct wars. In earlier centuries, powerful states regularly fought each other, but today direct war competition in major powers has become extremely risky. There are several reasons. The first reason is nuclear deterrence. Countries that possess nuclear weapons know that a direct war could become catastrophic for all. Since the end of the Second World War, nuclear weapons have made leaders more cautious about direct military confrontation. According to scholars such as political scientist Kenneth Walls, nuclear deterrence creates strong incentive to avoid direct conflict between major powers. Instead of fighting each other directly, rival states may compete indirectly through proxy conflicts. The second reason is economic cost. Modern warfare is extremely expensive. A direct war can damage trade, financial markets, infrastructure, and economic growth. Governments often prefer lower cost method of competition. Supporting allies or local forces is usually cheaper than deploying hundreds of thousands of soldiers. The third reason is political risk. When soldiers die in war, governments face public pressure at home. Citizens may question why their country is involved in distant conflicts. Proxy wars allow governments to pursue strategic goals while reducing domestic political costs. The another reason is international reputation. Direct invasions often attract international criticism. Proxy involvement is sometimes easier to deny or cancel. This gives government greater flexibility in pursuing foreign policy objectives. Proxy wars are not new. Powerful empires have used local allies for thousands of years. The Roman empires frequently relied on allied kingdoms. European colonial powers often supported local rulers to protect their interests. However, proxy warfare became especially important during the 20th century. The best known period of proxy war was the Cold War. After World War II, the world became divided between two superpowers, United States and Soviet Union. Both countries wanted to expand their influence but feared direct military confrontation. As a result, many regional conflicts became proxy wars. Examples included Korean War, Vietnam War, Soviet Afghan War. In these conflicts, local actors fought on the ground while larger groups provided support from behind the scenes. Historian John Lewis Geddes and many Cold War scholars describe these conflicts as indirect competitions between rival global powers. Let us now examine the main reasons states choose warfare. Every country wants security and influence. Supporting allies in another region can help a state expand its geopolitical reach. By backing a friendly government or movement, a country can gain access to important regions, trade routes, military bases, or political influence. Proxy wars can drain the resources of competitors. Instead of confronting an opponent directly, a state may support forces that create difficulty for its rivals. These strategies allows countries to impose cost while avoiding direct confrontation. Sometimes countries intervene because they fear that rivals' growing influence could upset the regional balance of power. Political scientists call this balance of power behavior. States often support opposing sides to prevent one actor from becoming too dominant. During the Cold War, ideological competition played a major role. Capitalism and communism were competing versions of political and economic organizations. Today, ideology still matters in some conflicts through strategic interest often remain in primary motivation. Natural resources sometimes influence geopolitical competition. Energy routes, oil fields, minerals, water resources, and strategic transportation corridors can increase the importance of certain regions. Countries may support local actors to protect these interests. Now, another major question is who benefits from proxy wars? To answer this question is difficult. Different actors may benefit in different ways at different times. Number one, governments. States may gain influence without paying the full cost of direct war. They can advance strategic objectives while limiting military casualties. The second is arms industries. Wars often increase demands for weapons and military equipments. Defense industries may receive larger contracts during periods of the conflict. However, it is important not to oversimplify. Wars will involve many political, strategic, and security considerations become beyond economic interest alone. But ultimately, if there is a more conflict, there are more arms industries who get many maximum benefit from different type of wars and different type of conflicts and even tensions. Political leaders also get benefit from proxy wars. Some leaders may use external conflicts to strengthen domestic support or shift attention away from internal problems. Political scientists have observed this pattern in various countries throughout history. Now we come, there are also other beneficiaries of various type of conflicts. It is a long list. But now we are going to next section, who suffers most from these proxy wars? The answer is usually clear. The greatest burden is often carried by ordinary civilians. People living in conflict zones may experience death and injury, displacements, economic collapse, destruction of infrastructure, reduced access to healthcare, educational disruption. According to reports from organizations such as United Nations and the International Committee of the Red Cross, civilians frequently bear the heaviest cost of prolonged conflicts. This is one reason why many scholars and humanitarian organizations view proxy wars as particularly damaging. Now we shall discuss proxy war in the age of social media. Modern technology has transformed proxy warfare. Today, competition is not limited to weapons and soldiers. Information has become another battlefield. Government organizations and non state actors may attempt to influence public opinion through social media campaigns, online propaganda, disinformation, cyber operations, digital influence networks. Some experts refer to this as information warfare or hybrid warfare. The objective is often to shape perceptions, influence political debates, and gain support within traditional military action. As a result, proxy conflicts increasingly occur both on the ground and online. Why are proxy wars difficult to end? We need to understand too. Proxy wars are often harder to resolve than direct wars. Why? Because multiple actors are involved. There may be local governments, rebel groups, regional powers, global powers, international organizations. Each actor has different interests. Even if local parties wish to negotiate peace, outside sponsor may continue supporting the conflict. This complexity can prolong wars for years or even decades. Political scientist Andrew Mumford notes that proxy wars frequently become difficult to control because sponsors cannot always fully direct the actions of their local partners. Can proxy wars backfire? Yes, history shows that proxy strategies can produce unintended consequences. Groups supported for short term objectives may later pursue their own agendas. Weapons supplied during one conflict may be used in future conflicts. Regional instability can spread across borders. In international relations, policymakers often discover that controlling events from a distance is more difficult than expected. This is sometimes called the problems of unintended consequences. Now, why does the future looks like? Many experts believe proxy warfare will remain a major feature of global politics. Several trends support this prediction. Continued competition among major powers in different regions, nuclear deterrence, rising geopolitical rivalry, cyber warfare, information warfare, lower cost of indirect interventions. Rather than disappearing, proxy conflicts may evolve into more complex forms that combine military, economic, cyber, and information competition. Let us include our session that proxy wars occur when countries pursue their interest indirectly through local allies, governments, militia, or other actors. States often choose proxy warfare because direct conflict is expensive, politically risky, and potentially catastrophic, especially in a world with nuclear weapons. Supporters may gain influence, strategic advantage, or leverage against rivals. However, ordinary civilians frequently pay the highest price of these proxy wars. Understanding proxy wars helps us understand a broader reality about international politics. Many conflicts are not simply local disputes, They are often connected to larger struggles involving power, security, influence, and competitions among states. As citizens, students, and observers of world affairs, it is important to look beyond headlines and ask deeper questions. Who is fighting these proxy wars? Who is supporting them? What interests are involved? And most importantly, who bear the cost of these proxy wars? Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this lecture and want more neutral explanation of politics, geopolitics, and international relations, subscribe to Irshad Explains Politics. See you in the next lecture. Here are few books you can also read. Kenneth Walls' Theory of International Politics, John Lewis Gaddis' The Cold War, Andrew Mumford's Proxy Warfare, United Nations reports on armed conflicts, and there are various reports and impacts of war of the International Committee of the Red Cross reports. Thank you. Allah Hafiz.